welcome back to Bumblebee. I hope you brought Tylenol and a lot of patience, because we're going to step into the unenviable role of a decipherer for today's video on fascinating lost languages you've probably never heard of. We're doing a fearsome 5 today, so starting us off at number 5 will be the newly deciphered Kushan Script. Do you know how rare it is that we get to say that about ancient scripts nowadays? Decoding things has become next to impossible thanks to history lost. Whether it's burning of books or decimation of cultures, language was one of the biggest victims of human ignorance. And now we're picking up the pieces all curious and want to know what happened in the past, and we can't. But as mentioned, someone managed. Well, someone's. Cologne University was founded in 1388 AD by Pope Urban, focusing on theology, philosophy, and linguistics. Now in alignment with the school's founding principles, the university's Department of Linguistics has decoded 60% of the ancient Kushan writing system known as the unknown Kushan Script. And this is hot off the press of last week. Since 1960s, archaeologists in Central Asia have found rocks, cave walls, and pottery carved with mysterious unknown language. According to the new paper by Professors Sylviana Bonman, Jacob Hoffman, and Natalie Korobaz, the team has successfully deciphered that 60% of characters of the unknown Kushan language script that was widely used in the Central Asia between 200 BC and 700 AD. Most of these ancient Kushan language scripts were found in Tajikistan, Afghanistan, and Uzbekistan. However, in 2021, a short script was found carved into a rock face at the Almosi Gorge. Not only did this rock face feature a rare example of unknown script, but it also featured a small example of Bactrian language. Using Bactrian parallel text, the team then analyzed character sequences, revealing the individual character's phonetic properties. The so-called breakthrough came in the decipherment of a royal name Vema Taktu, which was written in both Bactrian parallel text. Then the term King of Kings was identified into the corresponding sections. Turns out the unknown Kushan script is actually a completely unknown Middle Iranian language, which is neither identical to Bactrian nor the language known as Khotanese Saka, which was once spoken in Western China. Furthermore, it's thought that the newly decoded language probably occupies a middle position in the development between these two languages. It may have also been the language of the settled population of northern Bactria, which is now Tajikistan, or the Yuezhi nomadic group in Inner Asia, which had originated in northwest China. The newly identified Iranian language, now named Etio-Tochriarian, was one of the official languages used by the Kushan Empire, which flourished from 1st to 3rd centuries AD. Spanning Central Asia and parts of South Asia, the Kushan religion was influenced by Buddhism, Zoroastrianism, and Hinduism, which all penetrated Kushan culture via trade along the Silk Road. To learn more about unique ancient cultures on the go, be sure to take a minute to subscribe to The Hive. Next up for number 4 is a big old rock called the Newton Stone. So a rich dude decided to go touch grass, and while frolicking, he found an ancient mystery language stone. That's it, that's the story. Well, it's in 1804 that Earl Aberdeen George Hamilton Gordon decided he liked this big ol' enigma rock he found, and as it moved to the Garden of Newton House, a parish. According to Aberdeenshire Council of Newton House, the Newton Stone is described as of blue gneiss around 2.03 meters high. It has 6 horizontal lines of characters inscribed at the top, which are thought to be a debased Roman script, the meaning of which is unknown. To the left of this, down the side of the stone, runs an Ogham inscription. It contains a personal name, Ethernan, and an additional material that is either incomplete or not wholly legible. An incised kidney bean shape is observed on the lower side of the stone, identified as a possible Pictish mirror symbol. Ogham is an early medieval alphabet used in the Irish language between the 1st and 9th centuries. The short row of script on the Newton Stone contains 6 of 48 characters and symbols and is situated across the top third of the stone. The language used to write this message has never been accurately identified and has become known in academic circles as the unknown script. There's a lot of these things called just unknown script. The first attempts at deciphering the script are in 1822 by Greek professor John Stewart, who worked in his own theories but also published the work of Dr. William Hodge Mill. Dr. Mill had proposed that the unknown script was phonetic, and having been so highly respected in ancient language circles, his opinion was taken seriously. Then it was also greatly debated at a meeting of British Association at Cambridge in 1862. His translation of the unknown script was, "To Eshmun, god of health, by this monumental stone may the wandering exile of me thy servant go up in never-ceasing memorial, even the record of Zenania magistrate who is saturated with sorrow." Several academics supported Mill's Phonetic theory, but in the skeptic camp, Mr. Thomas Wright proposed a simpler, debased Latin translation. Mr. Vaux of the British Museum agreed it was medieval Latin, and Wright's translation was also supported by paleographer Constantine Simonreds. codex. Overall, there are 5 decipherment theories from the actual grown-up big boys who specialize in this kind of stuff: Phonetic, Gaelic, Latin, Greek, agnostic symbolism. Today, however, there's a wide range of interpretations from a wide range of ancient astronaut conspiracy weirdos and amateur historians alike that attempt to translate the Newton stone's mysterious message. Number 3, we wander into the territory of mysterious Mayas. Today, there are over 6 million people that speak a language that evolved out of a language that we still don't understand today. It goes to show how well spoken words maintain, especially given that it's been over 3,000 years. Language? Yeah, not so lucky. Although hieroglyphics are preserved across hundreds of ancient sites, all texts except for three Mayan codices were destroyed by the Spanish during the 16th century. I actually told the story of the most famous codice destructions headed by POS Friar Diego de Landa in my recent video, The Top 10 Dark Secrets of the Mayan Civilization. I highly recommend watching it or even reading the novel Where They Burn Books, They Also Burn People by Marcos Antonio Hernandez. When the Christian Inquisition chose to decimate indigenous cultures and erase the peoples, they intentionally destroyed the written history as well, and they got what they wanted by doing so, because here we are, centuries later, trying to figure out if this little picture of a frog means frog or if it means consumer of souls. It doesn't help that for over 100 years, language experts thought the Maya script was merely symbolic and did not represent language at all. This is unfortunately due to the perspective towards indigenous peoples in the past. Then, in the 1950s, a Russian linguist interested in the culture discovered that hieroglyphics were partly phonetic. In 1970s and 80s, interest in Maya script grew, and many linguists around the world were getting involved in decoding the mystery language. By the end of the 1980s, the Maya script was officially recognized as a fully functioning writing system, best classified as logosyllabic, which in glyphs can be used as a word, phrase, or syllable. In modern times, 2 major Mayan languages have been confidently identified in hieroglyphic texts, with at least one other language probably identified. Only around 15% of the script is completely unknown, and unlocking these final pieces of the puzzle will be a huge step forward in deepening our understanding of the social, political, and historical aspects of the Maya civilization. Despite this progress, there still is a lot to be learned and deciphered. A website launched in 2013 titled Maya Decipherment by University of Texas archaeologist David Stewart has been aiding scholars in complex task of completing the decipherment of this script. The website acts as a vehicle to post new inscriptions, refine translations, and debate the subtleties of Mayan language for scholars and plebs alike. Our next funky language will be the Rohonic Codex, number 2. 1838, a Hungarian nobleman living in England very generously donated his entire library of books to a science academy in Hungary. His library included the Rohonic Codex in the catalog, but there's no information about the book's origin or history before the nobleman. Also, if he had provided any information about the codex or the document's origins, it's lost to history, because the book got kind of tucked away for a few thousand years. 450 pages long, similar to Volnick manuscript, it also contains cartoon-like colorful illustrations, but this time more Christian and battle-themed in nature. Researchers can't tell if it reads left to right or vice versa, or what it says and who wrote it. What do they know? The paper it's made of is from 16th century Italy, so that narrows it down. Some scholars believe the codex, which they named after this city Rohonc in Hungary, to be genuine and have spent years trying to decode the text and illustrations, while others believe it to be a deliberate hoax. Unfortunately, nothing can be proven for certain for either side. Claims of forgery began as early as the late 1860s. In 1866, a historian accused Samuel Literali Nemes as the author of the codex. Nemes was an antiquarian known to have concocted multiple forgeries and spurious documents and books. However, attempts to link Nemes and the codex have always been unsuccessful. Hungarian scholars have been attempting to decode this mystery text since the 1840s to no avail. Other attempts in 1884 and 1890 resulted in dead ends. They've pretty much run this thing by every available language known to man, and they have tried code-breaking manuals and computer software. Sections of the codex are now available on the internet for amateurs interested in trying to solve its mystery. And it's last, but it'll never be the least. Number 1 is the Silver Script. This silver scroll may be an incantation of an 8th century magician in Jordan. How's that for a hook? Archaeologists found an amulet alongside a silver scroll in 2014 during excavations of a private house dating to 749 BC that an earthquake destroyed. The archaeologists found coins, pottery, glass bottles, jewelry, and the scroll itself, which is only 0.15 millimeters thick, 42 millimeters long, and has a diameter of 8 millimeters. They carefully extracted the scroll from its lead container after cleaning it and restoring it. Since it's not possible to read the text, we cannot identify the religious affiliation of the amulet's owner, the authors of the study wrote. Such pseudo-scripts and letter-like magical signs are furthermore important evidence for literacy or non-literacy in the ancient world and the value and power written text had for people. The spells appear to have been written by a magician about 1300 years ago in a language described as pseudo-Arabic, with Greek-based letters and magical symbols also inscribed on the scroll. Both Muslims and Christians spoke Arabic in Jordan in the 8th century AD, so it's not exactly like rounding us down here, but they know it was from a magician from the style of the scroll. The practice of hammering out thin layers of gold, silver, leads, or alloys and then inscribing incantations on them was common in the classical world after all. The metal documents were never meant to be read, but rather to be rolled up, placed in their amulets, and then on the body or around the house as an apotropaic artifact meant to ward away evil or bad luck. This practice was long-standing in the classical world and was established in a way in which uncertainties of daily life were dealt with, including cases of illnesses, unrequited love, and as protection against the evil eye, just to mention a few, the paper states. Such texts therefore let individuals speak directly to us through a medium, and they give us vivid insight into ancient mentalities and emotions, an insight which we hardly get from other literary or official ancient texts such as historiography, poetry, or inscriptions. In the book Ancient Christian Magic, Coptic Text of Ritual Power, there are many different types of spells that scroll could be. I thought it'd be fun to read to you what the researchers feel might be likely. So, it could be an amulet for help from the gods and the saints, amulet to protect against the mischiefs of evil spirits ascending through the heaven, a spell for protection against violence, erotic spell to attract women, spells for favor, honor, and passion, a spell for a man to obtain a male lover, spells invoking a thunder power and perform every wish, curses against a woman's face or work, and spells against natural disaster. The researchers have included their methodology in Nature articles so others can digitally unfurl the ancient spells and reveal their contents, which would give, as they say, vivid insight into the ancient mind. Alrighty, thank you so much for tuning in, and I hope you enjoyed. Be sure to like and subscribe to see more from us, and I'll see you guys out there. Bye!